We're back with rebuilding the 2024 Yamaha GP HO. We got the block, well, the cylinders already here. They look pretty good. We got our manual. We're going to be focusing on putting the pistons with rings and bearings in today. So we got our manual all set to the right page. We'll have to check our in-gap measurement. It's zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.3 millimeter. Got our feeler gauges all set here. Got our new connecting rod bolts. And then finally got our new sets of rings in. Look at those pretty things. And then we got new connecting rod bearings here also. Thanks to Green Hawk, they were able to find me 4 sets of rings and 8 bearings for the connecting rods. And then I have the main bearings coming too for the crankshaft from Green Hawk. They were able to find me some. So I won't go through checking the in gap on the rings. There's plenty of videos out there, but I'll kind of give a time lapse of what I'm doing. All right, in gaps on the rings are all good. So now I'll start putting the rings on the pistons. Again, this is on lots of videos, so I won't really talk too much about it. I'll just kind of time lapse it. All right, got all the rings on the pistons, and now it's time to put them in the cylinders. One thing to look for is 2 dots that go towards the timing chain area, and then also on the connecting rod, the side with the Y goes towards the timing chain area. And then I also notice on the cap, it's got a little bump out there that goes towards the timing chain area. So it goes towards the front of the engine. I've got this ring compressor here that I'll be using. So there's plenty of videos, again, showing how to do this. I'll just set up as a time lapse. So we got all four pistons in the block and the cylinders. As you saw, number three gave me a little bit of issue. Number four gave me a lot of trouble. You just have to keep working at it. Don't force it or you'll break one of your new rings. But just kind of, if you hit a hard stop, just kind of reset and try again. Maybe spin the rings a little bit to try to get them to, line up. These ring compressors aren't perfect. They won't like compress the rings perfectly in a circle. So they're kind of a pain in the butt to use sometimes. It'd be nice to have like a machined tapered cylinder that would just slide, the piston down in there perfectly. But um, I'm sure the car manufacturers have that and the engine manufacturers, but working out of your garage, that's not something you're going to have. So you just kind of have to reset and just keep trying, just keep moving things around, trying to get it all to fit in. Next, we'll flip this thing over and then we'll start working on the bottom end, so the crankshaft and all that happens there. It'll probably be like a couple weeks before I record that because I'm still waiting on crank bearings and I have a couple vacations coming up, so it might be a little bit. All right, so it's been about maybe 2 or 3 weeks since I filmed that last little bit. Finally got my bearings in, my main bearings. Crank bearings are in. Um, got both sides of the cases cleaned up. Already got the bearings installed. Got my crank sitting over here, all clean, ready to install. And I've got my Yamaha Bond, got my Ultra Slick, got my bolts. Now you're supposed to replace these, but I'm not going to. Maybe I should. I don't know. I did replace the connecting rod bolts. They seem like they did not stretch, like the old ones didn't stretch, because I, lined the threads up on the new ones with old ones, and they don't seem stretched. But I figure this part's spinning at like 10,000 RPM, so I should probably replace those, make sure they're good and strong. And let's see. I think now's the time to put the crank in, so I'll just put on time lapse and put the crank in. All right, now we're ready to torque the connecting rod bolts. So they're 12 point, so you gotta use a 12-point socket, 10 millimeter. Um, it's 38 foot-pounds or 51 newton meters plus 90. So we'll do the 38 foot-pounds first, and then we'll do the plus 90. All right, we got a nice layer of Yamaha Bond on there. Now I'm just gonna make the two halves together. Just want to kind of make sure they're stuck down there together. And we can start putting all the bolts in. And I was just lightly driving this down. I wasn't really hammering them. Now we'll go through and torque all of them according to spec. And big bolts are 18 foot-pounds or 25 newton meters plus 90. Little ones are 7.4 foot-pounds or 10 newton meters. So I'll go through and do all that. Oh, and you kind of want to torque them from the middle out, both ways evenly. There is an exact sequence, but as long as you're going from the middle towards the outside, you're fine. All right, that's the two case halves torqued together. And as you saw, the crankshaft spins nicely. Next, we'll put the oil pan on, I believe. All right, we got Yamaha on the oil pan, and it is ready to go. Both surfaces were cleaned with acetone, so should be good to go. Don't think we're freeing anything, but it's always a possibility. So let's put it on there. All right, I have to look it up. All these bolts get Loctite 572 put on them. That's the white thread sealant. This is Permatex brand, but same thing, or close enough at least. So this is going to take a little while, but we'll get it. Also, there is one odd length bolt that goes in this shorter spot. It's a short bolt. These bolts are all 8mm headed, so I'm just going to run them down real quick with my impact, but I'll torque them all. They get torqued to, let's see, where is that? 10 newton meters or 7.4 foot-pounds. Alright, same story there, just kind of torque from the inside to the outside. I'm sure there's a exact sequence, but I don't think it matters that much. I got the engine on the ground now. I'm going to go ahead and put the PTO side of the engine together. Shouldn't be too exciting. Just putting the stator and the cover on. The hardest part is putting the actual PTO on here. You gotta use green Loctite and you gotta torque it to 185 foot-pounds, I believe. I'll have to double check that, but I'm thinking it's 185 foot-pounds. Luckily, they make tools to do that. The tools are not cheap, but they exist, so um, that's what I'll be doing. All right, I got the PTO side all buttoned up. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, but you definitely need the tools in order to torque it properly. Next step in the process is putting the head on. So we got the head over here. It's all ready to go. I think I need to put this timing chain rail in first because it bolts down on the bottom, and I don't think I can get in after I put the head on. And then I did get new head bolts. They're recommended by Yamaha, and I think it's a good idea. I've had a mechanic say that he reuses them all the time, though, so I don't know. Replace them if you can afford it, or if you don't want to have any issues later on. I mean, it's not the end of the world if the head bolts break. I don't think. I don't know. It'd be a major pain in the butt. But anyway, we're gonna put the head on, and I'll get back with you. All right, I almost missed this step. You gotta put oil on the threads of the bolts. T55. I get torque to 41 foot-pounds. And it's plus 90 degrees. I'm not going to film that because it's not going to be pretty. So I'm just going to do that off camera. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I kind of laid it on its side and then torqued it. There's also these 3 bolts here. I'll go ahead and put those in. There's one bolt that goes through there, but I need to pull the timing chain back up to get that in the right place. And then we'll pretty much have the head attached. Next, we'll probably want to set the engine to top dead center, and then start working on the cams. So I've got cylinder 1 at top dead center. That's what this represents. And then what you want to look for is these dots on the cam shafts. They need to be facing straight up. It's a little awkward on the intake side because these lobes are pointing straight down right now. So once we get the camshaft holders, is that what you call them? Once we get those in place, I'll, I'll show you, exactly what you're looking for. And then once we're happy with everything, I'll put the tensioner in, tighten up the chain, and then we'll roll the engine over a couple times, make sure everything's happy and everything stays aligned. All right, I think I have everything in the right spot. I have, if you see that dot, it lines up on the intake side pretty closely with the mark. And then dot on the exhaust lines up with the mark. Um, it's tensioned, but I don't have the tensioner in there yet. That's the next step, is put the tensioner in there to keep the chain tensioned. Then we'll turn it over. The only question is, do I have this at exactly top dead center, or am I off by a tooth? And we can kind of see that by rotating the engine over and watching when the screwdriver shows us top dead center. Now, ideally, you'd have like a dial indicator to show exactly where top dead center is, but once we rotate the engine a few times, we will be pretty close to, we'll know where top dead center is. All right, I cranked it over a couple times and watched, you know, this guy come up and down. Watched, when this peaked versus when this dot lined up, and I'm pretty confident that we've got it aligned pretty perfectly. So we're just going to go with that. Next, we're going to move on to the front of the engine. So this is where the oil pump goes. So that's the next step. I don't know if I'll film much of that because it's not very exciting. It's just the oil pump going on. No big deal. We'll also need to add the oil cooler over here. That's what these two ports are. It's a cooler that uses the raw water coming in to cool the oil. So we'll add that to that side of the engine, and then I think that's pretty much it. I have to put the dipstick in, and once we do that, it'll be time to put it in the wave runner, which is right here, sitting at an angle. Now that I have the oil pump installed, I want to fill it with oil and then crank it over. I already filled it with oil. I've got a cheap motorcycle oil filter on there, and got the battery hooked up just to the starter. So we'll crank it over. I want to crank it over until I start seeing oil come out the camshafts there. I want to see oiling up to the top of the engine. So here we go. All right. Starter's not getting hot, so we're doing all right. So we start seeing oil on the timing chain. I haven't seen it come across the camshafts too much. I saw some over on these lobes. So we'll crank it over a little more. You can hear air coming out. So I think we're getting close. The oil gets pumped up through these two spots here. It just kind of comes up and then oils the cam. All right, well, I'm going to keep cranking. I'll start recording when I see oil coming out. All right, I'm 90% sure that we're getting oil up to the top now. You'll see when I run the starter, the cam lobes will get kind of a thicker film on it. That's just oozing out from the camshaft. You'll see. So we're good to go. I'll wrap everything up here. This will be the end of part 2. Part 3, we'll be putting the engine into the Wave Runner and firing it up for the first time.